I think there's a lot of areas to focus on. I think we are in a different space now than a few years ago, where some of the fundamental primary problems still had to be solved. Right now, we are a lot of people are still building new layer ones, new DEXs, new lending protocols. I think those things have saturated. People have to start looking, builders and developers especially have to look at second order problems to solve now, right? Now, how do you make layer 2s, for instance, a lot more scalable and a lot more palatable to businesses? Does it mean you have to introduce new layer 3s, or do you have to go on app chains, right? So it's that kind of a question that you have to solve for. How do you bring about more composability between the various layer 2s and eventually between layer 3s? And interoperability and cross-chain has always still have been a problem, right? So I think these are certain second order areas where a lot of focus can go on. On top of this, from a builder's perspective, even in the application layer, there are still a lot of improvements that they can do. Rather than the technology, I think the focus should be more on the user experience, because we are getting more users now. And there is an entire layer of business dev tooling, APIs, SDKs, toolkits that are getting prepared, and I think that's also very fascinating for builders. Yeah, so I think hackathons, bounties, accelerators are all great initiatives. I think what young builders who have aspiration to become more like founders need to do is, I think, network a lot more, right? And focus a lot more on relationship building. And what I mean by that is, if you are a builder, then focus on finding a cohort of other builders, right, who can help you grow a lot faster in the ecosystem. So focus a bit more on that while attending a lot of these events, and these are probably the places where you find your cohort, right? And this team who can potentially become your co-founders in due course, or can also, in brainstorming, give you a lot of ideas that you can then work upon. So I think those are type of initiatives that typically builders need to focus a lot more on. In Web3, so there are multiple, right? One primary first thing I would say is, don't keep asking when token, just ask yourself why token, right? I think token is more of an enabler. It's not what makes your business success or a failure, right? Two, focus a lot more on user experience, right? Three is be very sure when you're starting off that there's actually use case for the problem you're trying to solve. There is a market for it, and there will be people who will be willing to pay for it once you build it, right? Until these things are sure, don't really jump the gun based on, I'm in Web3, I want to change the world, because it doesn't really work that way. Don't follow hype cycles. Like I said, right, be more focused on why token rather than when token. Then do a lot more research, right? And don't fall into the territory of building a product that already hundreds are out there, right? And because you might put some sort of incentive to scale it on day one, but then it's just prone to failure down the line. So be focused on research, don't focus on token, and build a network.